Hello everyone, Ash here, and tonight I'm doing my very first Why It Works. This is going into a film explaining where the film worked and what made it so good. Now I'm also going to do another series called Why It Fails, and that's basically going to be where a movie was a complete and total disaster and why it just turned into the big pile of shit it was. There's also going to be a Why It Almost Works, where a film is it's not terrible, but it's still a bad movie. It has a few redeeming factors, but it's still a bad film. And Why It Almost Fails, where it's still a good movie, but it has definitely some noticeable problems. But anyways, it's my very first Why It Works, and the first one I'm doing is Batman Begins. Now, before I start on Batman Begins, I have to go into a brief history of superhero films, from the 90s to the early 2000s. Most superhero films during that time were terrible. The 90s was basically just about the powers. They didn't really have a story, it was nothing more than the powers and what they could do. And that's pretty much what they focused on for those superhero films in the 90s. It was lazy, there was horrible casting, and it was just a disaster all around. But then in the 2000s, early 2000s, superhero movies started to get really dark and depressing. I mean, they were really dark and depressing. Go watch Nostalgia Critic's review of Daredevil if you want to see more about how bad it got. But yeah, that was a horrible time for superhero films. It really was a bad time. And yes, I'm including the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films, as I can't stand those fucking movies. Anyways, let's get started with Batman Begins and why it works. One of the things that makes Batman Begins really work is its opening. It has a great opening, and this is in large part thanks to what Nolan is doing. See, in the other Batman films, we've never seen that 7-year time gap he's missing. We don't see it in any other Batman films. This is the first film that we see what's going on. We see his training for the first time. We see him get his gadgets. We see him become Batman. We see all the trial and error. And it all works really well in this film, and it's done very nicely. It's well paced and well executed. And it helps with a lot of the film. Particularly enough, the main theme of this film, which is about fear. This film's main theme is fear, and conquering that fear. And it's going to be shown throughout the film that you're going to see fear play a big role. So that's really smart writing and really good directing. But that opening act is definitely one reason why this film works, because again, we've never seen that side of Batman before. Two other things that make Batman Begins work really well is, one, the city of Gotham, and two, the characters. Now, I want to get into the city of Gotham first and explain why this works really well. And that's in large part because it feels like a real city. It feels like a city you can live in. It looks like a real city and feels like one. And that's one thing I like about it. It doesn't feel overblown or bullshit CG being crammed in there. And I'm referring to, for the CG bullshit, was that boring as hell Gotham that was in Joel Schumacher's versions, which, oh, Joel Schumacher, you do not know how to tell a story in any of the Batman films. You fail miserably at doing that. And his Gothams, Joel Schumacher's Gothams always looked cheesy, they always looked corny, they just looked really badly done. They were horribly done CG cities. While, again, Nolan's has a very realistic feel to it that I like. And I also do like Tim Burton's feel. I do like the way he does his Gothams. It's more artistic, it's a more artistic style, but still feels like it's still a good city. It's more artistic and more comic-based, but it's still a solid city Tim Burton did in his Batman films. Schumacher's was just a CGI mess, but Nolan's, that realism works so well and fits into the themes of this film. Now, the reason why I like the characters in this movie is because they feel like actual characters. They feel like actual people. They're not written like fucking stereotypes. See, in a lot of superhero movies before Batman Begins, a lot of the characters felt like giant walking stereotypes. I'm not even kidding you. Most superhero movies, the characters, all they were stereotypes of something we've seen in other films. That's all they were. Here, they're written like actual characters. Now I'm going to get more to the characters individually later, but I want to bring that I love these characters because they feel like characters and not just walking stereotypes. Now I had to bring this up, but some of the action scenes in this movie are damn near impressive. I mean, they really are. I think the two I really enjoy the most is, the first one is when Batman is on his first night and he takes down a bunch of people shipping drugs out. And the way he takes them out is just so cool. It's just done so well. The shots are done really well. I like the way it's all set up. That's a great scene. And I also love the tumbler chase where the tumbler is being chased by all the cops. That is awesome. Just to watch that scene with that tumbler going through roofs all over the place. It's a great scene to watch. And I really enjoy it. Now, some of the action scenes have a few problems, as there's a little too much going on in this at once, and that's definitely a problem, but some of those action scenes are damn near impressive. Now, as good as the opening act of Batman Begins is, what makes Batman Begins a great superhero film is that third and final act. Because, my God, they put the gas pedal on the final act. It just keeps going faster and faster, and it never slows down. The action is good. Nolan's directing, he does a great job with all the scenes. It all works really well. And I particularly like the final battle with Ras al Ghul and Batman duking it out, and then Batman says, "I don't have to kill you, but I don't have to save you either." And then he basically leaves while the train just derails and blows up. I like that line, but what I really also like about Batman Begins is fear. That's the theme of the film, is fear. And it's shown throughout the film. And Nolan does a great job with that theme. And I really like the way the theme is set up and it's used in this movie. And it's used, I'm going to say, to perfection. The theme of this movie is used to perfection. Just like chaos is going to be used to perfection in Dark Knight, it was used to perfection here. The themes have always been strong in most of the Nolan Batman films. But yeah, the themes and that ending, damn, they are good. But now let's get into the characters of Batman Begins. We'll start with Lucius Fox, played by Morgan Freeman. Now, what I like about Lucius Fox in this film is his relationship with Bruce Wayne and Batman. I like the fact that he helps Bruce Wayne become Batman in a way. He shows him the armor to use. He shows him the weapons to use. Kind of shows him all that and never really goes into questioning him. He says, "As far as I'm concerned, this is all your stuff, Mr. Wayne." And that's really cool. It's set up really well. So, yeah, I do like that. I do like the relationship between them. I think it's done well. It's not overkill either, which is another good thing about this film. So, I do really like Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox. Next, we have Michael Caine playing Alfred. And I have to say, he's the best Alfred I've ever seen in any of the Batman films. He's got a good on-screen presence. He's a great actor. But the thing that makes him better than all the other Alfreds that have done in any of the Batman films is this: the relationship between him and Bruce Wayne. Their relationship here is done much better than any other films I've even dreamed of doing. It's strong. Alfred feels a lot more like a father figure in this one. He's teaching Bruce Wayne, showing him. It works a lot better here than any of the other Batman films I've ever done. And the actor who was Alfred in the other films, I think he was a good actor, but honestly, I've always felt that relationship was very weak in the other Batman films. This one's a lot stronger and done a lot better, and it works throughout the film. So definitely, I love the casting choice for Alfred, but I just love that relationship between Bruce Wayne and Alfred in this film. Next, we have the Scarecrow. Now, I like the actor they brought in to play the Scarecrow. He's very creepy, very eerie. He does a good job, and he's got a good on-screen presence, and I think his mask works well. The problem with this character is that he's really underused in this film. I was hoping they'd use the Scarecrow a lot more. Unfortunately, they didn't. It's a shame because I was really hoping they'd use a lot more with him. They do a lot more with him, but they don't. And that's a disappointment, especially with the actor they got to play the Scarecrow. He's very underused in this film, and I feel bad. I mean, this is one of the problems I will say with the film is the Scarecrow. It's easily enough one of the problems. Next film we have Liam Neeson playing Ras al Ghul. I was stunned they actually put Ras al Ghul in this film. I never thought I'd see him in a Batman movie, to be honest. A live action one anyways, but they put him in here, and honestly, Liam Neeson's the perfect choice for that character. He does a great job with the character. I love him. I think, honestly, Liam Neeson's a great actor in general, and he was perfect as Ras al Ghul. He really was. That's all I can say. Now we have the worst casting choice of the film. Katie Holmes as Rachel Dawson. I really did not like Katie Holmes in this role. One, she's an idiot. I'm not kidding you. She does some really stupid things in this film. Two, she's boring. She is so damn boring in this movie. Every scene is just, it's her trying to do a relationship with Bruce Wayne is fucking hilarious how badly done it is. So bad. And I'm going to say it right now, I'm so happy Maggie Gyllenhaal got the role for Rachel Dawson in The Dark Knight. I think she does a much better job. I did not like Katie Holmes in this film at all, and I really did not like the relationship between her and Bruce Wayne. So yeah, that's the one thing I really did not like about this movie, was Katie Holmes. And finally, Christian Bale as Batman. What did I think of him? First and foremost, I don't have a problem with the voice. I can understand what he's saying, so yeah, don't care about the voice. That doesn't bug me. What do I think of Christian Bale being Bruce Wayne as Batman? Well, one, I think he's an excellent Bruce Wayne. I think he does a great job with that character. And as Batman, he does a good job. I think he does a solid job. Right up there with Michael Keaton, I would say. I like them both. I think they both have a unique charm they bring to it. I like Christian Bale's more upbeat character of Bruce Wayne. I think that works well. I do like Michael Keaton's more dark demeanor and mysterious tone. I do think they both do Batman differently, but they're both good at that. And I like them both equally, really. I'm not going to choose one or the other. I think they're both great Batmans, and I think Christian Bale does a good Batman. He's much better than Val Kilmer or George Clooney could ever dream of being. And Ben Affleck, fish out of water is what I'm going to say for right now with him trying to be Batman, because seeing him in the costume, he looks like a fish out of water. But anyways, I do like Christian Bale as Batman. I think he's right up there with Michael Keaton. So yeah, I think he does a good job. And I've got to give a shout out to Christopher Nolan. The man is a brilliant director, and I think he is going to be one of the greatest directors we've ever seen. And what he did with Batman Begins, instead of just making a random, mindless superhero film, he did something with it. He made it into a great movie, and I gotta give him a lot of credit for what he did with that film. Thank you, Christopher Nolan. You really are a great director, and unlike everyone else, I did like Interstellar. Batman Begins is a great superhero movie. It's well written and well directed. It's one of my favorite superhero movies of all time, and that's why it works.